Welcome back to my backyard and back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Christine. Today I want to talk about the 9 easiest vegetables to grow in your garden. They are 9 vegetables that I always grow. They're super easy, super delicious, and healthy. Of course, it goes without saying that you should grow what you like to eat, so this is just, I guess, my personal preference. So take it with a grain of salt, but these are super easy and prolific. And before we get started, if you could subscribe to my channel and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss when I upload, which is about 1 to 2 times a week. And if you are enjoying this video as we go, please give it a thumbs up. Let's get started. The first vegetable on my list is lettuce. I grew all of this from seed. I planted it probably 6 weeks ago at most, and we are enjoying this lettuce. Of course, the darker the leaf, the healthier, but we have had so much lettuce for just a couple of dollars. These 2 used to be full, but we have eaten tons of it, and now I am going to start eating this romaine lettuce. It is absolutely delicious. It is so easy to plant from seed, and I just use grow bags and whatever kind of containers I have, and I just throw in a bunch of seeds. It's a no-brainer. If you like to have lettuce on sandwiches and tacos and make delicious salads, can't go wrong. Super easy, grows super fast. You can do what's called cut and come again, where you don't cut off the middle heart of the lettuce that's growing, and it will keep producing for you. So you can do the cut and come again method, which I highly recommend, and you will have lettuce for months. It just keeps on giving. The next vegetable I want to talk about is garlic. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know I'm kind of obsessed with and love growing and eating and cooking with garlic. All of these, of course, are my favorites, but garlic has a special place in my heart. Let's talk about it. So this year I've dedicated an entire raised bed and part of my other raised bed just to growing garlic, along with some more garlic which I have behind my garage. I also have a couple in the front of my house of elephant garlic. It's just kind of everywhere. This is super easy and so fun to grow. If you are a new beginner gardener, definitely give this a try. In the fall is when you want to plant your garlic cloves. It's kind of one of those things you set and forget. Aside from some fertilizing, and then if you are growing hardneck garlic, you will see scapes grow out of the garlic in June. I've just trimmed all mine, or I would show you. I do have a video on that, which I can link at the end of this one if you would like to see it. But garlic is just an amazing crop to grow because it's super easy, and after you harvest it, if you cure it correctly, you can have garlic on your shelf for up to 8 months. I just finished eating and using some of my garlic from last season. That's how long it lasted. So if you're new to gardening or you've never tried garlic, I highly recommend it. It's really, really a fun, easy crop. And of course, garlic is super healthy. It has a ton of health benefits, antifungal, antioxidant, the list goes on. In my opinion, garlic is one of those superfoods. Next on my list are potatoes. They get a bad rap from the high carb phobia people, but they are really, really good for you actually. They actually have more potassium than bananas. Let me show you where I have mine in my garden. We'll take a quick look at them. Not much to see right now, but a lot is happening underground. So I have in here sweet potatoes. These all of this vine are sweet potatoes that I propagated the slips from organic sweet potatoes, and I do have a video on that as well that I can pop in at the end of this one or put down below in the description box to show you how I did it. It's super, super simple. And I did sweet potatoes, and then over here I have red potatoes. Again, not much to see, but there's a lot happening underground and it's super easy. I also like this crop because you get a lot of production from just a few plants. I think I ended up with 4 sweet potato plants, and I just did 1 large red potato plant. That I did not propagate myself. I actually bought that. The other reason I really like to grow potatoes is because I have a lot happening here growing up, and I'm utilizing my trellis to grow things up and out of the garden while the potatoes can grow down below the ground. So it's just a great way to utilize my space. The next vegetable I want to talk about are carrots. I have, they're buried now, but I have 2 earth boxes full of carrots. They are not ready to harvest yet, but I planted these from seed, again, about 6 weeks ago. I did pull one out before I started filming just so you could see what it looks like. These are little, I forget what they're called, I think they're called finger carrots. And these might be ready to harvest if these are the size, I'm not sure. But the taste of a homegrown carrot, I'm just gonna set that down. There is just no comparison to what a store-bought carrot tastes like compared to your own homegrown carrots. Highly, highly recommend it. They're super easy. And when I planted those carrots, I never thinned them out. I just did an experiment and just sprinkled in 2 lines of, my hands are all dirty now, but I just sprinkled in 2 lines of seeds and I never thinned them, and I think it's going to be fine. I'm just a really casual gardener that way. If you wanted to get a little bit more precise, you could definitely thin out your carrots once they start sprouting up, and maybe you'll have a better success. But I will do a video in the future when I harvest those so we can see what happened and if it was a good decision or not to not thin the carrots. I think it's all going to be fine, to be quite honest. Obviously, you know, carrots are super good for you. They have lutein, beta-carotene. They are really good for your eyes, and like I said, they're easy to grow, and the taste is just no comparison to a store-bought carrot. Moving along, my next favorite are peppers. These are bell pepper. I've already harvested a giant bell pepper off of this little tiny plant, and I don't know if you can see it here, but we have another baby on the way here. And I just really like growing bell peppers and jalapeno peppers. I only have one in my bed this year here because of the obsession with garlic. I really limited myself to the space I had to plant other things. So I have this one plant here. And then over here, sorry about the noise in the background, I have 3 bell pepper plants in this grow bag, and you can see again they're already producing, which is just incredible. I mean, look at this. I've never had production this early for bell peppers. I don't know what is happening. I think this year for gardening is going to be a total just bumper crop of everything. This one in this pot, these are jalapeno peppers. This is just one plant, so one jalapeno pepper plant. Again, I just want to say peppers are really easy to grow in pots. So if you have limited space like I do, or you spaced yourself out like I did, utilize pots and grow bags or earth boxes. They thrive in pots. I've never had any issues. I've never had production this early, but they've always been very prolific. And like I said, just an easy crop. And if you get too much, last year I planted quite a few bell pepper plants. I just chopped them up, put them in bags, and popped them in the freezer, and I am still using them now. So there's always a way you can preserve, whether it's freezing or canning, to enjoy your garden long after the harvest season is over. So bell peppers, jalapenos, go for it. The next vegetable, it's another favorite of mine, and those are onions. I really love growing onions. Let me show you where I have those. I do have a video on how I planted 155 onion plants in this space here, which again is limited. My sunlight is limited, and I did a video showing you how you can plant 155 onions in a small space. I can link it down below, and I'll talk about this at the end, but I'll have a couple videos on the screen at the end so that you can see some of these other things that I'm talking about. But let me show you my onions. It's a little noisy over here. There's some background air conditioning noise, but this is my driveway. And right now I have these 2 earth boxes in my driveway because it's a good sunny spot. I love earth boxes because they're on wheels, they roll really easily, they're self-watering if you want them to be, or you can water them yourself. And a lot of people say not to grow onions from sets. I grow all of my onions from sets, and I will try to pop in a little thing here to show you what I mean by that, but let me just try to explain it as well. So sets are the little cell packs of flowers or vegetables that you buy. One cell pack of onion sets has got probably 15 or 20 teeny tiny onion plants in it. And what you have to do is carefully loosen one tiny onion plant away from the set and then plant that. And they're very tiny. And so it seems like when you plant them that nothing is going to happen or they're not going to make it. They just kind of look really fragile. I have a lot of success with onion sets, and let me tell you what I think my secret is. I'm not a pro gardener, but let me just show you what I do and why I think I have good success with sets. So again, I'll try to show you what this looked like when I first planted these and how tiny they were. But what my secret is as they grow, I trim them. And they have a tendency to grow, and you'll see this curve here, but they have a tendency to grow and they'll curve and touch the soil. That's not good for the growth and prosperity of your onion, because that signals to the plant that it's like done. So anytime you see it curving and starting to get too far over, I trim them so that they just keep pointing up straight. And I do this pretty much every day for the first 6 weeks or so until they really establish a really straight grow pattern. That to me is the secret. I have really nice big onions. These are just 2 of my 155 onions, but they all look like this. So give your onions frequent haircuts. They really like that. Number 7 on my list is Swiss chard. Super easy to grow. I love to add it to soups. And what I tend to do, because of it being summertime and I don't usually make a lot of soup in the summertime, I harvest it, wash it, chop it up, and freeze it. And it is super handy. If you like Swiss chard, or you could do this with kale or spinach, I highly recommend it. This is a really, really easy vegetable to grow. I only have 1 plant this year. I usually have a few. Again, my space is limited and it's not looking great, but let me show you. I shouldn't say it isn't looking great. It's just that I've trimmed it and used it quite a bit, as you can kind of see here. So it has really, it does look good. It has really healthy, big leaves. And if you like Swiss chard, I highly recommend growing it. It's fun to grow too. It's really pretty. Some people have issues with insects and critters with Swiss chard, but so far so good for me. I've really enjoyed growing it, and once again, it is one of those things that tastes so good when you grow it yourself. Just nothing like it fresh out of the garden. My number 8 veggie on the list are cucumbers. Probably every home gardener grows cucumbers, and you can probably guess what the last one on the list is. But cucumbers are just, once again, a homegrown, home-picked cucumber. Is there anything really like it? Just salads, we put them on sandwiches and BLTs, and I make pickles, and I make tomato and cucumber salads, and just, it's kind of endless. You can just sprinkle salt on a cucumber. They're just absolutely so crunchy, fresh, delicious. Homegrown cucumbers just signify summer, right? So let me show you. Okay, so the way I like to grow cucumbers is by utilizing a trellis, because you save all of the space in your garden, number 1. But number 2, cucumbers really like to have good airflow, and trellising them up is a great way to achieve that. And I did this last year, and I had such a huge crop of cucumbers. As you can see, I just keep tying them up. Every single day I come out and tie up or help guide them up the trellis, and then eventually they will meet in the middle up here. And yes, I do have to get out a ladder to harvest them, but it is so easy. That's that for the cucumbers. Oh no, wait, there's one more cucumber plant. This is one cucumber plant that I am growing in this planter box, pot, whatever you want to call it. And I have a little trellis here, but I also have this post of this pergola. So between this and the pergola post, I am training the cucumber to grow up it. So we'll see how this does in the pot. I've never done this before, so stay tuned. This is a long, skinny cucumber. I forget the name of it. Number 9, tomatoes. Every homegrown gardener, you gotta have tomatoes. I don't know who doesn't have or love homegrown tomatoes. Again, super easy. They're not difficult to grow, and the health benefits of tomatoes are numerous and abundant, and even when you cook them, they are possibly even healthier than raw. So I highly recommend growing these. I have 5 tomato plants this year. Last year I had, I think, 15, and so I did a lot of preserving with my tomatoes, and this year I just wanted to grow less. And again, the garlic. I wanted to grow less tomatoes and try to utilize them more in the moment and eat them, pick them and eat them, and not focus on preserving them. So I'm hoping to give a lot of them away and just, like I said, consume them as I harvest them. Let's take a look at the tomatoes. So in this bed, I have 2 beefsteak and 1 Better Boy, and they are right here. 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure how this is all going to work out with the cucumber trellis, but I'm hoping for the best. And I might just have to keep my tomato plant a little more trimmed down to accommodate room for everything, but we'll see how it goes. It's all okay. This is not rocket science. This is what they are looking like. You can see we have blooms, and they look really healthy. There is nothing that compares to a homegrown tomato. And let's look at my other 2 tomato plants. By the way, these tomatoes that I just showed you are what's known as indeterminate tomato plants. So they grow and produce all season long until the weather kills off the plant, until fall, till growing season is over. So that is an indeterminate tomato plant. It just keeps on growing, keeps on flowering, keeps on producing fruit. Whereas these 2, these are determinate tomato plants. These are San Marzano, and these are plum tomatoes. They're really good for paste and making tomato sauce, and I just wanted to plant a couple of them this year. So there's one here, and I have one here in this grow bag. So with these determinate tomato plants, you can plant determinate tomato plants, do really well in pots, and the difference is they grow to a certain point, a certain height, they bloom, put on their fruits, and that's it. I would not recommend planting an indeterminate tomato plant in a pot. They just don't do well. Another tomato plant that I really recommend, I don't have this year so I can't show you, is the Super Sweet 100. If you like smaller tomatoes, like cherry tomatoes, the Super Sweet 100 is so good, so fun, super easy to grow. And last year it was just huge, and I got so many tomatoes from that one plant. So look for the Super Sweet 100 if you like a cherry tomato. Thanks for joining me in my garden today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know down below, what are your favorite vegetables to grow? What do you like? What does well? What's easy for you? If you want to see how I planted my 155 onions, I will put a video right here for you to check out between now and the next upload. If you want to see how I planted over 200 garlic plants, I will also put that right here so you can check that video out. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Share it with friends and family who you think might enjoy it. Thanks again for joining me. Can't wait to see you next time.